Ms. Francois brings her girlfriend Ms. Perry to Judge Lauren's courtroom in what appears to be a case of betrayal. She claims she gave Ms. Perry shelter when she had nowhere else to go, and she started having an affair with her son under her roof. Now Ms. Perry claims her son is the father of her child.
You have a friend, Ms. Perry, of a paternity test, taking Miss to go sleep on James.
Yes. Okay. I knew I'd being a Christian helper. Yes.
Ms. Francois said she met Ms. Perry at a church picnic where she learned of her predicament. She decided to help her by providing food and shelter for her for free, and she betrayed her.
So you think she stabbed you in the back by sleeping with your son?
Oh, she did.
So, Ms. Perry, you see this differently.
Yes, I do.
You moved into her home and you accepted her help.
Contrary to what Ms. Francois claims, Ms. Perry said she was already with her son before she came to her house. She said that Ms. Francois was aware of this relationship. Ms. Francois gasped in shock, claiming she had no idea of such a relationship.
You were with her son how long before you moved in?
We were talking maybe about 2 or 3 weeks prior to that. Were you there when we got together?
Excuse me, my kids
Ms. Francio said if she had known about the relationship, she wouldn't have offered Ms. Penny free accommodation. Ms. Penny said she had been talking with the son 2 to 3 weeks prior, that she was introduced as her son's girlfriend. Ms. Francois stared at her with disbelief.
Face she was on what planet or what? Because we wasn't together. I'm the one initiated it because
So how
I
do you
didn't
think
know
we're a cute
nothing.
couple if we're not together?
Excuse me, because I found out of your past.
A heated
Your
argument
past,
broke out
see?
between both
what
women.
did you
Ms.
find
Francois
out?
said
She's
part of the reason why
homosexual.
she's
She's a
doubtful about
lesbian.
Ms. Penny's
Okay.
claim was because
Yeah,
of her
that was my
past.
past,
She was a
and I am
lesbian.
proud of
This
it.
all later came to light after she started living with them.
Suggesting that your children could somehow be harmed because Miss Perry is a lesbian seems incredibly far-fetched. You truly don't believe.
Ms. Perry said she was upfront
No.
with Ms.
I
Francois
believe-
from
you
the
know
very
what I
start.
believe?
She told her
If
that her
she
son
wasn't
was the
honest
first
with
man
that,
she had
how
ever
can I
been with,
trust
that
her
she had
in my
raised a
home to
good
be
man.
honest with
Ms.
you?
Francois wasn't having any of that. Her
When you
facial
say you
expression was
spoke to her
filled with
about it,
disgust.
What do you recall saying?
We were sitting on your porch, and I got introduced to her as the girlfriend.
So you're doubting that this child is your son's based upon what?
It's just the point how she did everything.
Ms.
and she lied
Francois
about
said that
all
Ms.
the
Penny
other
has
stuff,
never
and
been
she's-
honest with
she's
her.
still
So how can she
lying,
now
because
be
she
honest about the
never told me
paternity of the
that
child,
about her
that her lifestyle was a
situation.
thing to
I
be
had
weary
find
of,
out
especially
from
when she
someone
tried to
else,
hit
like
on her?
my
Mrs.
daughter,
Penny said
about
nothing of that
her
nature happened,
lifestyle,
that she
and then
respected
she
her
hit on
as the
me.
mother of her boyfriend.
Thank you for joining us today. Tell us,
Okay,
do you believe her child is your child?
Ms. Francois' son was called to the stand to give his account. He said he believed he's the father of the baby, but he couldn't sign the birth certificate because Ms.
Did you
Penny
sign
was
the
still
birth
legally married
certificate?
to her
Now,
ex.
it's a little
Ms.
issue
Francois
with that,
also
but-
said
What
she
is
told
it?
her son
What's the
not to
little
sign
issue?
anything until he did the
It's-
paternity
she was
test.
married and the whole legal situation with that.
Miss Mr. McCreary, you are the father.
Bam.
Ms. Francois said it's not the first time her son has been accused of getting women pregnant. It has happened 7 times. The son said it was a huge bone of contention at home, that he
Ms.
didn't want to get a
Gibson, you
DNA
have
test, but Ms.
petitioned
Penny
the court for
insisted
the
they should
results
because of
of
his mother.
paternity
Only the
tests
DNA
for
result from
3
Judge Lauren
children.
can bury the
You've
hatchet.
asked the court for time alone here before testimony begins to tell the court about your brother.
A sister, Ms. Gibson, appears in court to defend
You
her
say
dead
he
brother
was
against
murdered
3 women who
and
claim
left
he's the
behind
father of their
many
respective kids.
unanswered
She's accompanied by her aunt, Ms. Pierce, who
including
came to lend her
3
support.
women who all claim he fathered their children. circumstances surrounding you coming here today?
Okay, in October 2011, my father called me with a very devastating phone call.
Ms.
He
Gibson
told me
narrated the
that
gruesome
my
story
older
of how she
brother,
lost her
Quadrivius,
brother.
had
With
been
glistened
shot.
eyes,
On
she
my
took
way to
several
the
pauses
hospital,
because
I
of
got
the
a phone
grief.
call
She
from my
said that
younger
different women
sister,
kept
and
popping
she
up
told me
after
that
her
he
brother's
didn't
demise,
make it.
claiming he was
She
the
told me
father
that
of their
he had
kids.
died.
She wants to find out the truth today.
My daughter Zalayla.
And all three of you are here because you believe that GQ was the father of your children.
The three women were summoned into the
I'd
courtroom,
like to
Rose,
speak to you one
Robs,
at a
and Webb.
time,
Robs
and I wanna
opened the
start
floor
with
by
Ms.
giving her
Robs.
account on how she met the brother. They were in a relationship, but he was constantly cheating on her, and she was fed up and decided to cheat on him too with her ex.
Around this time, I didn't tell him that I have had an affair with someone else.
Okay.
So everything was going good, and he had got incarcerated. So I ended up telling my ex that I was pregnant.
Robs got
And you
pregnant
told
after
your
the
ex the
affair,
baby
but
was
never told
his?
the brother
Yes,
she had an
Your Honor.
affair. The child took the name of her ex. This was confirmed by Ms. Gibson, hence the uncertainty concerning her paternity.
My baby father was gonna sleep with his son.
Woo! It's complicated now. Hold on, you gotta break this down for me, Ms. Webb.
You and me both,
one
right.
of your children's fathers was coming by to see.
Webb
His
took the
son.
stand.
His
She
son.
said she was also
And
dating
you
the brother
said
before he
to
died. They were
GQ,
neighbors. At the
since you were
time, her
dating,
baby
you
daddy
wanna
was still in the
stay
picture.
too,
The
just
baby
so
daddy
you-
usually comes around.
All night with binoculars looking through your window.
Oh, I get it. So your brother, that was just I'm gonna leave you alone with
But
him and
I'ma
see
watch
what
you.
happens. So no, I don't want to be here. But he had in his mind, you know your brother and your
Exactly.
nephew well. So he had in his mind, I'm gonna
Yeah.
see what's going
So
on.
now you
A
see
rumor
our
started
doubt.
going around that Webb was sleeping with her baby daddy, that he was responsible for her pregnancy. That was the origin of the doubt concerning the paternity of the child.
The accident, like we weren't really supposed to have,
His brother?
But when I say it was all of us, we was like in the truck. We was in the truck. We was
Rose took
riding
the stand to
around,
give
like,
her
his
own
brother
story.
had
She
left
started
one inside
crying. Ms. Gibson
McDonald's,
said
and
she doesn't
then
know
it
anything
happened.
about
You was
her,
with his
that she
brother?
contacted her
not
aunt, Ms. Pierce, via
sexually or
Facebook.
anything
Rose said she was in a
like-
relationship with someone else during the time of her pregnancy, her ex-boyfriend.
Get some food. That's what you're saying, right? Okay.
Friend contacted me on Facebook.
The
And-
boyfriend?
Yes, ma'am. I guess the boyfriend that she was with when they accidentally slept together in the McDonald's parking lot in the van. And he told me that
Ms. Gibson
he
said she
had
started
no
digging
idea
around
that
after
there
the
was a
ex-boyfriend
different-
contacted
a
her. She
possibility
discovered
of
there
him
were
not being
other
the
baby
father.
daddies in Rose's life. This made her doubtful about her claims that her brother was the father of the child.
That Mr. Gibson is her father.
Ms. Gibson said she was most doubtful about Rose's kid because of her promiscuity. The judge and the audience couldn't wait any longer. Only the DNA results can determine the real
Ms.
father of these
Robinson,
kids.
you are suing your mother for paternity fraud and are here to prove that Mr. Moore is your biological father.
Daughter,
even though
36
your
years old,
mother
Ms.
put
Robinson brings her
another
own
man's
mother,
name
Ms.
on
Harms,
your
to
birth
court in a
certificate.
case
Is
of
that
birth
correct?
certificate
correct, Your
forgery,
Honor.
angrily
Ms. Harris,
confronting
you're
her for
certain
denying
Mr.
her the
Moore is
privilege of
not your
knowing who her
daughter's
real father
and
was.
claim
Mrs.
her
Harms
case
says
of
the claim is
paternity fraud
outrageous.
is outrageous.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you plan to prove that today.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, I don't feel that I'm the one that waited the 36 years. I feel that my mom waited 36 years to help me find who my father is. And I have always, tried to ask
Ms.
her
Robinson said
about
she
my
had always
father. I
tried
guess it
asking
was
her
part of
mother about her
past she didn't
father,
just
but
wanna
to
bring
no
up,
avail.
so it
Ms.
always got
Harms
pushed to the back
interjected that she had
burner, or I
always
was
told her
told,
who her
get the
real
hell out of
father
her
was.
face, leave
Ms.
her
Robinson
alone.
said she looked nothing like the man. Her mom said it doesn't matter.
For some reason, she was nervous.
It wasn't that I was nervous. I just didn't want to come here at that time to listen to any more of their lies.
Yeah, nobody wanted to deal with the past, but I'm the past.
Because
I need a
Ms.
dad.
Harms, in your mind, you're
Ms.
saying,
Harms said
I know
she has
who your
always been
father is
honest
and
with
I
her
already
daughter.
told you.
Yes, ma'am. I had already moved on.
The daughter didn't agree.
He is
She
not
said they
your
were
father.
even supposed to appear in court 3 weeks earlier, but her mom was nervous. The mom said she's lying.
Rumors in the small town we're from in Arkansas, everybody says that this man is my dad. You know, he's always came to me and said he's my dad.
Really?
But the thing was, I was always being sent with the other
Ms.
man.
Robinson
So
said she
if
heard
I
a lot
wouldn't-
of rumors
Excuse
from
me,
where
Your
they
Honor,
came
that's
from that the
another lie. She
man
was
who was
never
outside
been
the
sent.
courtroom,
Yes, I
Mr.
was
Moore,
with
was her
another
real
man.
dad.
To
A heated
another
argument
man.
broke
No,
between
you
her
are-
and
no,
her
you
mom.
were
The
not.
mom
That
said the
is a
rumors
lie,
are
Your
false.
Honor.
So I want to understand this. You were told specifically, Mr. Moore is not your father.
Yes, by my mother.
Did you ask the question? How did this come up?
She had just told me one day, because, you know, I used to go back and forth from Michigan to Arkansas. So I guess she felt that if I went down to Arkansas, I might
Ms.
see.
Robinson
Your
said
Honor,
her
she
mom
came to me
specifically
and
told her while
let me
growing up that Mr.
if
Moore wasn't her
Vernon
real
ever
dad.
came to you and told you that he was your dad,
Her mom shook her head in disagreement.
And say in this courtroom, when people say to me, I did not have my father and I felt like there was a missing piece,
and it really.
I say it because I have had my father and he is loving and kind and my #1 fan, and I could not imagine my life without him in
And
it.
that's all I want.
And when you say I never had that,
Ms.
I
Harms
feel
said the
for you
judge
because
shouldn't
I know
believe what her
you're
daughter is
missing.
saying, that the daughter and Mr. Moore are compulsive liars.
Okay?
First I have
Gray hair.
a birth certificate.
This
Okay.
is a
Ms.
birth
Robinson
certificate,
submitted
you
her birth
said?
Yeah, that was
certificate
my
as evidence to
original
the court.
birth
The
certificate right
signature
there.
on the father's side was very
spot, it
neat,
has a
unlike the
signature.
one of her
Now,
mother's.
when I
When
looked
she
at
requested
that,
for
I
a new
seen that
birth
the signature
certificate
looked
because
new.
of an
It didn't
ID
look as old
application
as
she
my
was
mom's
doing, she
signature
discovered
on it.
there
But
was
I'm a
no
kid,
father's
so I went
signature.
along with
That
it.
was when it
Last
dawned
year,
on
I
her
needed
that
to get
her
a new
mother
ID.
forged the signature.
Me and Mr. Moore.
You on the left and Mr. Moore on the right.
And I also have another picture of our nose, Your Honor, when I was younger.
Oh, Lord.
This
'Cause I
is
had
side by
pictures of
side.
everybody. Every time
Ms.
I look
Robinson
in the mirror,
also
ever since I
submitted
looked at his
pictures
pictures,
showing her
I feel like
resemblance with
Mr.
Mr.
Moore would've
Moore.
been
The
gone.
pictures
So
were
if
displayed
that
on
ain't
the
what it
screen for
is, I
everyone
need to
to
be
see.
proved
She
wrong
also
today.
stated that Mr. Moore has premature gray hair, just like her. Another picture showing the similarities of their noses was displayed.
Mr. Moore, you are not her father.
Mr. Moore was called to the courtroom. He said he was in a
Who is my
sexual
daddy?
teenage relationship with Ms. Harms before she got pregnant. Ms. Harms said he's lying. Mr. Moore said he had always believed that he was the father, and he tried being involved in her life, but he wasn't allowed. Only the DNA results can settle this decades-long family feud. Show results.
Ms. Lusk, you and your mother say you have no doubt whatsoever when it comes to knowing who your 3-year-old daughter,
A grieving
Samari's
mother, Ms.
biological
Page, drags a
father
young
is.
woman, Ms.
Yes, Your
Lusk,
Honor.
to court who claims her
Unfortunately,
deceased
the man
son
you
is the
claim
father
is
of
her
her
father
3
has
years old
died,
daughter.
and
Ms. Page
now
claims
you
Ms.
find
Lusk is
yourself
lying
facing
because she
off
wants to
against his
cash in from her
mother, who
son's
is
life
just
insurance
as
policy,
convinced
which was
that
worth
she is not your
$50,000.
daughter's grandmother.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your daughter.
It's been more than extremely difficult being pregnant at 16, having to still go through school.
Ms. Lusk said she got pregnant when she was 16 years old, that she raised her daughter alone, that she never got any assistance from Ms. Page. Ms. Page interrupted her and a heated argument broke out. With raised voices, they exchanged words. Judge Lauren had to calm both parties down.
I had
insurance on
What
my
money?
son. I had an insurance policy. They're out
That we knew nothing about.
Let her
That we
speak.
knew nothing about.
Unless it's
Ms. Lusk
proven
said
it's
she had
not
been
my
trying to
son.
get a
You never
DNA test for the
heard
past 3
anything
years.
about it.
Ms. Page said Ms. Lusk
Nothing
only
about
wanted a
You said
portion
you
of the
have an
insurance
insurance
policy,
policy.
Yes, Your Honor.
$50,000,
And so this
and she
insurance
never met her.
policy
Ms.
is
Lusk
in the
said
amount
they've
of
met before when she came to see her
$50,000 you
son,
submitted
and
that
she didn't know
paperwork to the
anything about
court.
the life insurance policy.
Same time, this was my first time meeting you, Miss Page. Her exact words were, "You look like his type. You're very pretty, very small."
Miss Lusk
And
and
she
Miss
said
Anderson,
the
my
same
son didn't
thing.
have a particular type. He was in a
Ms.
he was in a
Page said her son was in a
relationship.
committed
Ms. Page,
relationship
you're
before he
saying your son
died,
was in
and
a
it was not with
relationship
Ms.
with a different
Lusk.
woman,
She said
a
another woman had come
long-term
forth
relationship.
earlier, claiming her son was the father of her child, and the DNA result came back negative.
Facebook or something like
No,
that.
ma'am.
So please respond, Ms. Anderson. How do you know what happened?
I contacted Miss Page through Facebook to tell her to call me. She called me, and that's when I broke the news to her about my daughter being pregnant by
Ms.
her
Lusk's
son.
mother,
Okay.
who was
And
also
so you
present
had
in
a
court, said she was the
conversation.
one
During
that
that
contacted Ms.
conversation,
Page
what
when her
was
daughter
said?
got pregnant on Facebook, that she never got a positive response from her.
The stroller.
What
I
led up to that, Miss Page?
don't know
Hold on,
one at a time.
You made a post.
I know anything about a stroller because I'm not providing a stroller for a
When the
a
baby
child
was
that
born,
doesn't
Ms.
know
Page was
it
not
a
allowed
walk,
any
whatever it
visitation
was.
rights
Not
because of what she had
buying nothing.
posted on
Once Mari was
Facebook
born,
concerning
did
the
you
paternity of
allow
the
Ms.
child,
Page
that the
the
child should not be
opportunity to
named
see
after her
her?
son.
Did
The
you
birth
say,
certificate
"The
presented to the
baby's
court
here
showed that the
now,
child
and
was
I'd
still
like
named
to-"
after her son.
When I laid down and was intimate with him.
No,
that's
it's not,
permission.
it's not been
That's
proven.
permission.
It's not been proven.
But it will be today.
You're not
but it
his
will
wife.
be today. You're
not his
absolutely
wife.
correct. I don't have to be, and you're not either.
A
You
quarrel
wasn't
broke
in the
between the
room,
three
Miss
women.
Page.
Apparently,
Okay,
they've
and
been
I'm
in
his baby
constant
mother.
communication
No,
with
you're
one
not.
another
Yes, ma'am.
since the
I
birth
don't
of the
wanna be.
child.
What
Both
I'm not
parties resented
understanding
each
is
other.
it seems
The only
like
thing
you all
holding them
have
together
had-
was the baby, which Ms. Page is adamant doesn't belong to her late son.
Now, the animosity you all have built up, that is because you've handled the situation inappropriately. A situation this
Ms.
delicate
Page said she asked
never
people
need to
around,
play out
family
on
members and
Facebook.
relatives,
Ms. Page,
including
I
the
wanna
friends of her late
understand
son,
from you.
and none
Have
of
you
them
tried
knew Ms.
to
Lusk.
ask
Ms. Lusk
some
said
of
she was not
Desmond's
aware the
friends,
son was in
maybe some
another
of your other
relationship
family
until after
members?
he died. She found out on social media. It came as a shock to her.
The probability of relatedness between Miss Page and Samari Page is 99.
Ms. Lusk said she couldn't even attend the funeral, that Ms. Page was mean to her, slandering her on Facebook and calling her premature daughter ugly. Ms. Page didn't hold back. She repeated her statement in the courtroom to the dismay of everyone present. Only the DNA results can stop this squabble.
Curtis, you have brought your mother, Ms. Hall, court today because you say she hid the identity of your
A daughter,
father from
Ms.
you
Curtis,
for
brings her mother,
14
Ms. Hall, to court for
years.
deceiving
Now,
her for
today,
14
there's a
years
man
about the
waiting outside
identity
the
of her real
courtroom that
father.
your mother
Ms. Hall
believes
tells her
to
that the
be your
man waiting
biological
outside the
father,
courtroom
yet
could be
you
her
still have
biological
no
father, but she's doubtful
idea
about it.
if
Ms.
that's
Hall
the
admits
truth.
to deceiving her
Your
daughter
Honor.
for years.
Has been lying to me for the past years of my life, which was 14 years old, and that the man at the time was not my father. She said to me, "I want you to take
Ms.
it to your
Curtis said
grave
she
if
learned
your
the
mother
truth from her
never owns up
grandmother,
and
who
tells
sat her
you
down
yourself."
and told her
I said,
who her
"Okay."
real
And
biological
I felt
father
that it
was.
the
She
truth
said
because
she
I
always
felt
felt
like
she
I
was adopted because
My
the man
father,
her
he
mother said
really-
was her real father at the time never showed her any affection. There was no bond between both of them.
Kurt lived pretty much like a fast lifestyle.
Okay.
And you know, which attracted me to him. And being young, at the time when I got pregnant, I didn't even
Ms.
know that I
Hall
was
said she
pregnant,
never
'cause I
told her
didn't know anything
daughter about her
the body.
father
You didn't
because
know
she
what
got
it meant.
pregnant
You
at
were
the
just
age of
so
15
young.
years.
Yes. And
She
then
was
what
young
happened?
and scared.
About a month
She didn't know
passed by,
anything
and
about the
I would
female
say
body.
I started,
That was when she
my
met
psych-
Kirk,
and I was like, oh.
before meeting the man whom she told her daughter was her father.
What your grandmother said. What did she tell you?
She began to tell me her own version of the story about who my alleged father at the time.
Ms. Curtis said when she confronted her mother after speaking with her grandmother, she told her a different version of events. She told her that the man at home with them wasn't her real father. Ms. Curtis told her that she was already aware that her grandmother told her. Her mom told her a different name entirely, and the name was not Kirk.
The time that I set forth for her was at the age of 16.
Ms. Hall said she wanted to tell her daughter the truth at the age of 16 on her own terms.
I was the one who took care of you.
That she was the one who raised her and took care of her. Ms. Curtis interjected that she didn't have a father growing up. Ms. Hall told her that it wasn't important. Ms. Curtis started crying that she missed out on a lot of things because of the lack of a father figure in her life.
Childhood life through me. She wanted me to do the things that she wasn't able to do. I didn't even go to the prom because I don't know how to dance. I don't know how to do anything.
Ms. Curtis, with tears in eyes, said her mother was trying to live her childhood through her. She wanted her to do what she couldn't. She never had a life of her own. She never went to the prom. Her mother interrupted her that she had no clue what she wanted. She was too young to know.
My heart dropped to my feet because I've been to the father-daughter dance. I could only imagine everybody getting ready at school and chattering, talking about the father-daughter dance, and you saying to yourself, well, I guess that's somewhere I can't go.
Well, actually, Your Honor,
Ms. Curtis said her mother told her never to ask her alleged father for any stuff, only her, so she never had any bond with the man. She was trying to isolate her because she didn't want her to discover that he wasn't her father at the time.
This is the first time she'll ever see the letter.
He does state he's willing to be the father she needs and deserves, and it's signed Kirk.
And Your Honor, I know you may not understand how I feel
Ms.
about
Curtis
this
submitted
right
a letter
here,
to the court from Kirk when he was in prison. The letter was written to her mother. She found the letter at home. Her mom had hidden it. In the letter, which was displayed for all to see, Kirk said he was willing to be the father she deserved.
Mr. Whitaker, you are...
Mr. Kirk was summoned to take the stand. He said he was doubtful about being the father of Ms. Curtis because Ms. Hall was also with another man when she said she was pregnant. Ms. Curtis, still teary-eyed, said, how can she believe any of them when they're not even sure themselves? That both of them are compulsive liars. There's too much doubt. Only the DNA result can solve this mystery.
Ms. Autry, you say the defendant is taking advantage of your son by pinning a baby on him, and you have physical proof
A mother, Ms.
that her
Autry, drags her
2-year-old
daughter-in-law,
Skyla
Ms.
is
Martin,
not
to
your
court after
grandchild.
failing
That
to stop her
correct?
from getting married to her son. She's now trying to prove that her son is not the father of her 2-year-old daughter. Ms. Martin claims Ms. Autry is a monster-in-law, and she's trying to sabotage her marriage with her son.
And hope to get some once the results are revealed. Ms. Martin is taking advantage of your son.
Well, she entrapped my son by marrying him, by giving him things like money, clothes, cars.
Ms. Autry said Ms. Martin entrapped her son by giving him stuff like money and clothes while being a tramp. The judge had to refrain her from using derogatory words in the courtroom. Ms. Autry said she was doing all this because she wanted a man of her own, which was her son.
She's giving him money. Miss Autry, come on, let's be respectful.
I don't like her.
Why you want to? And look, you don't have to like her, but you can use respectful language.
Ms. Martin said she never entrapped her son, that her son was also buying stuff for her in return. Ms. Autry abruptly interjected and said that it was impossible for his son to be doing all that because he didn't have a job. He was at home all the time, that her son had no money.
me what's going on.
I got a phone call that she was getting married down the street from my house. So I got out of my bed and I started walking down the street to where she was getting married at.
Ms. Autry said her son didn't tell her he was getting married to Ms. Martin, but instead he decided to have a shotgun wedding without her knowledge. She heard the news from somebody else because her son knew she would have stopped it. She wanted to grace the wedding ceremony unannounced with the intention of crashing it, but the location was changed.
Friend sent me walking and she said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "To stop this wedding." So she gave me a ride and she dropped me out. So I'm up there trying to stop the wedding.
Ms. Martin said they had to move the location of the wedding because of her mother-in-law that she's crazy. The whole guest had to move because they were avoiding Ms. Autry. She is a renowned troublemaker, and they didn't want her to create a scene. She repeated again that she's crazy.
So you've never cared for Miss Martin?
It ain't so much as I never cared for Miss Martin. It's just that she has been very disrespectful from day one.
Ms. Autry said she never liked Ms. Martin and that she disrespected her when she came to her house. Ms. Martin said she disrespected her first, that she can only respect those that also respected her. Even at the hospital during the childbirth, Ms. Autry caused a scene saying that's not her son's baby.
She's
so
too.
I know
they
that's
haven't
not
grew
my son's
yet.
baby.
I mean, they grew.
All right, let me see this evidence.
Like the baby's supposed to come out with full-blown eyebrows. You act like she's supposed to come out with full-blown eyebrows.
She do.
No, she does.
He did.
Ms. Autry said they called her Queen DNA because she always performs a DNA test on all her son's children, and that this was not her first rodeo with women claiming that her son is the father of their kids.
Look at the right foot.
State your name for the court.
Rebecca Cooper, Your Honor.
Miss Cooper, you are Miss Autry's daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
Look at her eyebrows.
Ms. Cooper was called as a witness. She's Ms. Autry's daughter. She said she believed the child belongs to her brother. She has a very good bond with the child because she spends a lot of time with her sister-in-law, and there's no bad blood between them. Ms. Martin said if the son and the sister is okay with the child, why is Ms. Autry not okay with it?
Every week.
The biological father is Mr. Martin.
I'll take that for 200, Your Honor.
Mr. Gout was called to the stand. He was the ex-boyfriend to Ms. Autry's daughter. He claimed he had an affair with Ms. Martin, that he believed he was the father of the 2-year-old child. She said Ms. Martin told her once that there's a possibility he could be that father. Only the DNA results can stop this from turning into a fist fight.